The following voices are AI generated. We hope you enjoy the video.
Hey guys, we're taking over this video. My 6 kids are being babysat by the 4 Kids crew. Today, the Dreamcast/Adventure era crew will review the 1994 adaptation of The Little Rascals, based on the Our Gang short films from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s.
Can you believe we're actually watching this 90s kid flick based on a series of old-timey kid flicks? I mean, I'm faster than sound alongside the Blue Hedgehog, but I've never seen this movie, but Maria enjoyed the hell out of the Our Gang short films.
I don't know, Sonic. Human kids and comedy seems like a weird combo to me, at least.
Come on, Knuckles. This could be fun. It's a classic that Cream and I watched before going to school, back when we were in the games.
It feels good to be in our first movie review. The 4 Kids Chaotix review wrestling, but the Adventure Chaotix will do whatever the hell we want.
I can tell this is the kind of warm, fuzzy movie that'll knock your socks off.
I haven't seen The Little Rascals since the mid-2000s, and that was a very long time ago.
Sorry I'm late. I had to give Sonic and Amy's babies their lunch before I lended them to the 4 Kids crew.
I remember watching the old short films with gun agents back when we were in the games. The movie should be cute. If it isn't, it's no wonder this franchise isn't remade or rebooted today like most big Hollywood IPs.
Oh, it's going to be so cute. I love kids' movies except for movies like The Cat in the Hat. Now, let's check out the movie and tell our audience what we think of it. 1 hour and 22 minutes later.
Whoa, these kids are wild. The race was fun, the antics were off the chart, and even young love between Alfalfa and Darla. Kinda reminds me of me and Amy right when we left the games.
Slow down, Romeo. There were a lot of human kids in the movie, and I think my favorite characters have to be Porky and Buckwheat. They were the show stealers.
I think they were all so adorable, but not as much as my babies.
Oh, when they were building a new go-kart out of scrap metal straight out of a junkyard, the kids were street smart.
Bro, why didn't I think of that? I remember when I was in go-kart races, I used to spend my allowance on the best technology to make a go-kart, but now I need to dumpster dive for the best parts to make a cart. Tails, can you come with me after the video? Sure thing, Charmy. The Rascals had no choice since they didn't have the money to buy parts to make a cart. When I made that one airplane in Adventure 1, that plane was also made of junk parts. Sonic gave me the tornado after I crashed it.
See, I told you all that this movie would be fun. Sure, this isn't Oscar-worthy, but it's one of those nostalgic guilty pleasures that you can't help but love.
Yes, Bio was right. But I think that Spanky should have had more attention since he's the leader of this all-boys club. I can relate to Spanky, since I am the leader of Team Dark. After all of the shadows, including myself, getting their memory back.
Just to let you all know, I was the leader of Team Dark in Sonic Heroes, but after we left the games when the 4 Kids' voices replaced us, Shadow is now the leader. As for Spanky, he's still cute when he tries to be in charge. It's interesting that this movie was directed by the woman who directed the first Wayne's World movie.
The movie was so sweet and funny. I loved it back then and I still love it now.
Now that we've been giving you all our initial thoughts of the movie, let's go through the story of the Little Rascals movie. It starts with Spanky and the American bulldog Petey sitting on a porch, and Spanky writes a note to share to all of his friends. Petey runs around town, spreading the announcement note to everyone.
Porky and Buckwheat were fishing, and both of their hooks got together, and this gag was used from the old Our Gang shorts. In fact, this movie is based on several particular shorts: Hearts Are Thumps, Hi Neighbor, Russian Ballet, Male and Female, and Auto Antics. Spanky brought all of his friends to a clubhouse called the He-Man Woman Haters Club to announce the driver of the undefeated driver of the go-kart they call the Blur.
The Rascals basically got a go-kart as their lucky charm for winning their annual soapbox derby. I wouldn't be surprised if kids from previous generations had the Blur. Alfalfa was chosen as the driver, but just after the announcement was made, Alfalfa was nowhere in sight.
We then cut to the next scene where Alfalfa was singing poorly to his little girlfriend Darla on a little boat. The club's members tried their hardest to break the two apart, including a part where Alfalfa and Darla had a picnic in the clubhouse to the dismay of Spanky. The boys tainted their sandwiches and grape soda. Alfalfa and Darla kissed, but then the boys had enough, and Alfalfa panicked. Eventually, the clubhouse burned down, thanks to Alfalfa being unable to blow off the candles from the picnic table. Darla was mistakenly led to believe Alfalfa felt ashamed of her. So she turned her attention to Waldo, the new rich kid whose father is Donald Trump as an oil tycoon. And no, we're not gonna make Trump jokes.
The kids even dressed as firefighters when the clubhouse was on fire. It was a reference to the Our Gang short film Hook and Ladder, but the damage was already done. Because of Alfalfa being the one who burnt the clubhouse like Espio making barbecue ribs, Spanky, Stymie, and the rest of the Rascals put Alfalfa into court. And as Alfalfa's punishment, he was left guarding the go-kart every day and night until the day of the race. Until that day came, Alfalfa made many attempts to woo back Darla, including a visit to her ballet rehearsal, an undelivered and hurtful love letter, and through serenade at a talent show, all of which failed and bit him in the ass.
I felt bad for Alfalfa being forced to disguise himself as a ballerina and ruin the recital along with Spanky. Not to mention, the bullies Butch and William chased Alfalfa in his underwear and was chased by Waldo's vicious dog Fifi. I swear to God, Alfalfa couldn't catch a break to win back Darla.
Hey, in order to rebuild their clubhouse, the boys tried to fundraise the cost of lumber, $450. But the youngest ones, Porky and Buckwheat, have unknowingly come up with $500. Their school teacher, Miss Crabtree, finds out about the scheme. But Spanky convinces her to use the funds as prize money for the go-kart derby.
And in that same scene, where the boys tried to earn money, that's when the talent show was made. Waldo and Darla sang a cover of L.O.V.E. by Nat King Cole. Alfalfa felt defeated and tried to sing his own original song, but Waldo decided to add soap into Alfalfa's glass of water. As a result, Alfalfa burped bubbles when he was singing, and everyone laughed, but Spanky was pissed off and tried to end the act.
Right after the talent show, Alfalfa and Spanky got into a heated argument because shortly before the show, Alfalfa found out that Spanky was the reason for his breakup with Darla, which caused Alfalfa to quit as a club member.
To add salt to the wound, the blur was stolen by Butch and Wally. In addition to having to rebuild the clubhouse, the boys needed a new set of wheels. They band together to build a new go-kart called the Blur 2 the Sequel. On the day before the race, Spanky and Alfalfa reconcile and decide to ride in the two-seat go-kart together. They hope to win the prize money and the trophy to be presented to the victors by who they claimed as the greatest racer of all, A.J. Ferguson, who's played by a certain country singer.
Just a heads up, there are several celebrity cameos in this movie, but anyway, when it was time for the race, Butch and William turned the original Blur into a stereotypical punk bully cart, and they made several sneaky attempts to stop Alfalfa and Spanky from winning the race. Waldo, who kicked out Darla from his race car, pulls a few tricks of his own. The Blur 2 crossed the finish line ahead of the pack, and resulting in a picture-perfect photo finish between the Blur and the Blur 2. Literally, by a hair due to Alfalfa's unique pointy hair, or a cowlick as they say. Despite the many scrapes, odd turns, and crashes throughout the derby, the Rascals defeated the odds. When Butch and William try to beat up Alfalfa, he knocks Butch into pig slop. But William, on the other hand, threw himself in due to his cowardice.
Along with first prize, Alfalfa also won back Darla's heart after it turns out that Darla was the one who kicked Waldo out of the car, not the other way around. Spanky, meanwhile, was shocked at the trophy presentation when he finally meets his favorite driver, A.J. Ferguson, whom he learns is a woman.
And A.J. Ferguson is played by none other than Reba McEntire. I remember Cream and her mom watched the Reba show all the time back then, right, Cream?
Absolutely, Miles. My mom always watched Reba's show back when it aired on TV. I think Vector saw it too.
Yeah, I only saw Reba only when there was nothing else to watch. Vanilla has a good taste in television.
I didn't know that, but now I do know why you weren't in our meetings with clients when mysteries were needed to be solved.
And when you and Vanilla had karaoke nights, country music was the first genre you'd sing.
As for the movie's ending, Spanky and Alfalfa won $500, and that was more than enough money to buy lumber. As soon as the clubhouse was rebuilt, the boys collectively had a change of heart toward membership and welcomed Darla and her female friends to their club with Women Welcome added to the sign. Basically, this all-boys club is now an average kids club.
At the very end of the movie, it is revealed that one club member who went by the name can say more than simply The movie closes with bloopers from the child actors while filming, and you can tell throughout the movie that the kids whispered to each other. I guess they were in a rush, had a tight budget on those celebrity cameos, and didn't bother to reshoot scenes.
And that was The Little Rascals, ladies and gentlemen. A fun, cheesy 90s movie about a group of boys and a few girls with wacky misadventures. The movie had cameos like Whoopi Goldberg as Buckwheat's mom, the filmmaker Mel Brooks as a greedy bank teller, Leah Thompson, who we know as Marty McFly's mom from Back to the Future, as the ballet instructor, the Olsen twins Mary-Kate and Ashley as Darla's friends, a young Raven Simone as a girl who Stymie flirts with at the end of the movie, and of course Reba McEntire and Donald Trump, who we mentioned earlier. With the exception of Trump, all these cameos were awesome.
Here's some fun trivia we saw on IMDb. In the original Our Gang shorts, Spanky had a New York accent, but in this film, he spoke with more of a Southern accent to sound like a stereotypical U.S. president, particularly then president of the time, Bill Clinton.
And in the movie, when Darla was holding her can of soda in her tutu, you can see Super Mario in that can.
The actor who played Waldo was also in Full House as a recurring character named Derek, who was Michelle's friend. I guess that's how Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen got their cameo in the movie.
There's a lot of fun facts about the Little Rascals, but I know there has to be even more fun trivia about the original Our Gang short films. I'm so thankful enjoying this movie then and now.
I gotta admit, this movie was indeed a decent one. If it were the worst movie, I would have left early, but I was actually entertained the whole time.
It's too bad the critics bashed the movie, and I've seen worse movies from that era. I guess they don't find kids with hijinks funny.
I recently saw an old fast food restaurant commercial, and it was Long John Silver's of all places. Who the hell even goes to that place? We fucking hate that place. But anyway, two of the actors who played as Alfalfa and Darla did the commercial to promote the Little Rascals movie. Check it out.
My darling, I have procured a delicious meal. It's a shrimp and fish meal from Long John Silver's. 3 tasty battered dip shrimp and their famous fish. My Alfalfa-nator. And I brought you this game card in hope of winning a fun-filled sojourn of unparalleled proportions. You scratch, I'll hold. Hey, there's 3 of me. There's only one of you, Sweetie Pooh.
The Little Rascals, now playing at theaters and along John Silver's near you.
Cream, I think I'm the only one who actually likes Long John Silver's because crocodiles love seafood. Sure, the restaurants we went to were crap, but I've had worse, trust me.
For those of you who are new to the channel, our favorite fast food restaurants are Burger King, Subway, Wendy's, Five Guys, and Chick-fil-A. I think one of those places should have promoted the Little Rascals rather than that trashy seafood place.
In conclusion, The Little Rascals is one of those movies that is full of silly, over-the-top wackiness from the 90s. Sure, it's not the best movie aimed for younger audiences, but I think it's worth a watch, especially if you're already familiar with the old short films from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s.
Wait, I was looking for more DVDs and then I saw this. What the hell is that bullshit?
Oh, dear God, no, that's the sequel. The trashy sequel that came out way too late.
I don't even want to hear about it.
That thing doesn't exist.
I saw it once. It was fucking awful. The writing was so bad, and the characters weren't the same.
Yeah, Cream. They should have had the original kids grown up with their own kids, like a Passing the Torch or Next Generation Little Rascals, with new names and new characters. But no, it's the same characters with less charismatic child actors, with the exception of a certain girl who grew up doing horror movies.
I'd rather sing the train song Save the Day than watch that shitty movie.
That's a good idea, but that could have actually happened if Juan A. ICL was still around.
Tales said that the sequel had that cute girl, who's now Wednesday Addams.
Oh, yeah! It's that Jenna Ortega girl. She's not cute anymore. She's an all-grown-up, beautiful human woman that's now in horror movies. Yes, she was a bright spot in an otherwise lackluster film that's skippable.
She was really good. It's no wonder that she's the only relevant actor in that trashy sequel. I didn't expect a bonus review.
We don't want to torture ourselves reviewing a bad direct-to-video sequel, Charmy. It's not worth reviewing. We're just telling the fans that there was a sequel to The Little Rascals that shouldn't have been made aside from showcasing Jenna Ortega as a potential star. The sequel was a departure from the original's charm and nostalgia. I think that should wrap up the review, ladies and gentlemen.
It was fun reviewing a decent movie for once, instead of something irritating like The Cat in the Hat. Go ahead and give us a like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Don't forget to click on the bell so you cannot wait for future videos. Our next couple videos will be the long-awaited Ratchet & Clank gameplay video and a commentary of public domain cartoons starring 4 kids Sonic, Amy, and Shadow.
Spread the word. Follow us on TikTok and subscribe to Juan CL on YouTube as well.
Stick around and stay tuned for more new videos. We just got 300 subscribers. Let's hope we gain 500 before the 3rd movie comes out. Now, who wants to say it this time?
Let me say it, because I'm the last Chaotix member from the adventure era to say the thing. Tails and I will go dumpster diving for new go-kart parts. We'll see you guys later. Peace out and rock on.
This has been 1CL Productions. The end.